Right. Right. Yeah, but the best part
recognition of our seniors. I'd ask you that when we do announce them to go across and accept their diplomas from Mr. Collins, Mr. Banaszak, that we hold our applause in recognition until all students have been recognized. Each student has worked very hard for 13 years to get onto this stage, so we want to make sure that all family and friends in the audience have an opportunity to recognize and hear their child's name. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Calla, Board of Education, administrators, faculty, fellow graduates, family, and friends. Michelle Sarrazin is an assistant professor of chemical and biological engineering at Princeton University. There, she teaches chemistry and reaction engineering courses to both undergraduate and graduate students. Her research focuses on catalytic reactions for renewable fuel and chemical production. She is a proud graduate of Sharon High School, where she was the 2007 class valedictorian. Michelle went on to earn her Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering, summa cum laude at the Pennsylvania State University, and received her PhD in Chemical Engineering from the University of California, Berkeley. Additionally, she was a postdoctoral fellow at the Georgia Institute of Technology. Her recognitions include the National Science Foundation Graduate Research Fellowship, Howard B. Wentz Junior Faculty Award, National Academy of Engineering Frontiers of Engineering, as well as a division director for the American Institute of Chemical Engineers. It is my pleasure to now introduce to you Dr. Michelle Sarrazin.
Thank you, Catherine, for the introduction. Ladies and gentlemen of the faculty, the staff, the Board of Education, family and friends, and most importantly, the Sharon High School class of 2021. Let us rejoice in this momentous day, a full year of school, unlike any other, one that has tested all of you. In a year that has tested all of us, you've made it, and it is a great accomplishment. We've learned a lot this past year. We've learned how to mute our microphones so our dog doesn't disrupt a class or a Zoom meeting. We learned that we prefer to see our friends and classmates in 3 dimensions. We learned, in the words of Amanda Gorman, that the norms and notions of what just is isn't always justice. We learned that teachers, like those in the audience and in our 3 elementary schools, are irreplaceable figures in our lives. We also learned how to be resilient. Even if you feel that you haven't been so, you have. Case in point, you made it here, to your high school graduation. When we think of resiliency, we might think it has to be an immediate reaction, and such that we return back to your native state. Much like a spring or a hand impression left on a foam cushion. But really what is important is to have a reaction at all. Much like the potency of the virus that led to this pandemic, one that we are still living in reeling from, stress and emotional isolation does not discriminate in its host. However, everyone's timescale of reaction and their pathway to resiliency can be different. So what is important is that you have any pathway at all, and that we don't judge our own reaction and pathway based off of someone else's, because it will in fact be quite different. We have to acknowledge that our new end state doesn't have to be the same as how we started. In fact, it's this tested version of oneself that is often better. The pathway of resiliency will have its twists and turns. And at times it might feel that you are stagnant and not moving forward at all. But it's important to remember that these times are actually transient, and you will get through it just as long as you remain flexible in how you perceive your path out. Life in high school are already full of challenges in a normal year, let alone the compounded nature that we've had in this past year. And just because we may be able to take our masks off does not mean we will never face adversity again. But fortunately, resiliency does not obey the law of conservation of mass, meaning it is not finite. You can build it up within you, drawing on it and replenishing its reserves when needed. Further, you do not have to be alone in building this resiliency. In fact, what you may not realize now, all of you on this stage have an ace up your sleeve for your path along to resiliency, an ace that no one can actually take away from you. You are a Sharon Tiger. You are a member of a community so special that it can be there to support you well beyond the time you finally close your locker. That tiger blood runs deep through me, and I have played that ace before myself. My mom was a member of the first class to have their full senior year in this very building. My dad was a head coach for the boys and girls basketball teams, and he taught geography and other social studies classes in room 224, retiring my junior year and effectively eliminating my hall pass location. They, along with the teachers, some of who are still in the audience, consistently nurtured the idea that what I learned in this building and what I was exposed to both academically and culturally would be enough for the foundation to do whatever I wanted. They were right, but it isn't just true for me. It is the same is true for you. Whether you start working right away or go to a post-secondary institution, you have what it takes to take you where you want to go. And if you hit a snag in the road, or many snags in the road, don't be discouraged. Remember that you are not alone in both hitting them. I've certainly hit some along the way, as most people have. But you also are not alone in recovering from them, because you will have the people in this room and on this stage to be there to support you. So as you collect your diploma in due time, and then recess from this building to start the next chapter of your lives, know that actually we, those who are older than you, are lucky that you have had all this resilience training to go into the world. Because we need you to tackle the big problems that we face as a society. You are all more than equipped, and I am more than excited to see what you do with that power. Congratulations and good luck.
Good evening, Mr. Calla, Board of Education, administrators, faculty, fellow graduates, family, and friends. My name is Peter Wood. I'm the 2021 class president and salutatorian. It is truly an honor to be able to stand before you all and represent my class here today. I just want to have a sigh of relief and say what a journey it's been. There were definitely a few surprises along the way. I mean, who could predict a global pandemic? But I would just like to take a moment to congratulate all my classmates on a job well done. I think I speak on behalf of the student body, as I would like to take a moment to thank everyone who has helped shape our lives and become the men and women you see here before you. Our teachers, our coaches, our friends, and most importantly, our family. The teachers especially deserve a big thank you, as I know it has been challenging during these confusing and troubling times. But seeing teachers who are passionate about their work inspires me every day. I'd also like to thank the parents for their support along the way and keeping us on track. We would not be here without all of you. I would like to emphasize two aspects that are very important: individuality and hard work. As your class president, I value individuality. Sharon is a very diverse place with people from all walks of life. Everyone has their own special talents and abilities. Some are good at sports, some are good at academics, some are good at music, and some are even good at drawing. Not me though, I can barely draw a stick figure. Each of us has our own gifts, and it is up to us to decide how we use these gifts to succeed. Coming to school every day, I saw everyone's individual talents on display, and it was all of us together which made this school such a special place. With the diversity of the student body at Sharon, I was always excited to see how we, who are all different, could come together. The unity among our class, shown through working together during business week, or just coming together to have fun at ILAC, makes me honored to stand here before you as your president. I look forward to coming into school every day because of the people I encounter, and I wanted to thank the students of Sharon High School for making each day better than the last. I learned especially over the past year, when quarantine and online classes kept us out of the building, that it is the people that make school worthwhile and what makes Sharon High, Sharon High. The school events, such as pep rallies, basketball games, and football games, displayed the school spirit and makes me proud to be a Sharon Tiger. Unfortunately, due to COVID, many of these events did not happen this year. But one thing we did do was adapt. There was no homecoming this year, but we had a homecoming court during prom. There were no spectators at sporting events, but we still played our hardest. We even had to wear masks during school, but we adjusted. Even when we got back to some sense of normalcy, not everything worked out. The senior trip got rained out, which seemed par for the course considering the year. Being able to unite during these troubling times proved that we can overcome adversity and become stronger because of it. This also proves that we can still have good times even during a global pandemic, and that there are good times to come. There is no school I'd rather go to than Sharon High. The focus of individuality is useless without the second focus of hard work. Individual success and greatness can only be achieved through hard work. Basketball superstar Kevin Durant commented when he was drafted into the NBA that hard work beats talent and talent doesn't break. This quote was actually written by Tim Hilke, who was a high school basketball coach. This is very true, as all of you on stage with me have worked very hard to get here today. As stated earlier, it is important to emphasize that it is hard work and not just talent that goes into being successful in high school and in life itself. Practice, persistence, and patience are key to getting better at anything. That's why I'm proud that my hard work has paid off standing here before you as your salutatorian. It is not just talent that allowed me to succeed. Hard work is important for the future as it is required for big dreams, such as becoming a doctor, a professional athlete, entrepreneur, or just getting that dream job. It may seem impossible now, but the ability is within us all. We just have to have the persistence and focus to make it happen. While hard work is important, it is also important to have fun along the way. The beauty in life is in each precious moment. Stop and smell the roses. School is important, but our class was still able to have fun with prom, ILAC, and our senior prank. Throughout our time at Sharon, the good times have always been there, through elementary school field trips, after-school club activities, and rewards for our hard work, such as the academic boosters breakfast. I want to thank Sharon Schools for the opportunity to let us stop and smell the roses while still instilling the values of hard work. It is important to have a balance between work and play. Balance is key in life. You want to work hard to achieve success, but you don't want to have life pass you by. Remember to make the most of life, because you only have one life to live. I want the graduating seniors and everyone else here tonight to take away this message and try to achieve a balance in your own lives. This is a bittersweet moment for me as we close this chapter of our lives. While I'm sorry to see it end, I'm excited for what the future will bring. Everyone has their own story just waiting to be told, and I cannot wait to hear all of yours when we meet again. Thank you, and congratulations to the graduating class of 2021.
Good evening. On behalf of the Board of Education, it's both my honor and privilege to welcome you here tonight. I have two stories to share with you. The first involves a student named Kate. Now, for some of you who have attended commencement exercises in the past, you may remember I told this story before. It's a rerun. It's too bad. You're going to have to listen to it again. Kate's one of my favorites. She's a second grader, 7 or 8 years old. She's sitting in class, and it was a science lesson. And the teacher was talking about whales. And what the teacher was trying to do was impress upon these youngsters just how big they were. And then she said, ironically, if you were in the ocean swimming and the whale came by you, chances are it would just leave you alone. And the reason why, it's looking for food. And a whale, even though it's so huge, its throat or its esophagus is only 6 or 8 inches in diameter. And that's a fact. So the whale won't bother you because he can't eat you. Well, Kate thought about it for a moment and raised her hand and said, wait a minute, there's something wrong here. And the teacher said, why, Kate? What's your concern? She said, well, I just learned about Jonah. And Jonah was swallowed by a whale. In fact, he lived for 2-3 days in its stomach till he spit him back out. Well, the teacher said, what we know today about whales and anatomy, it would just be a very difficult thing if that actually happened. Now, the story of Jonah is important, and there's a lot of valuable things we can learn from it, but I really don't think that happened. Well, Kate said, I have a plan. When I die and go to heaven, I'm going to look up Jonah, and I'm going to ask him what really happened. Well, the teacher said, that's good, but what happens if you go to heaven and you can't find Jonah? What if Jonah went to the other place? Kate thought for a moment and said, well, then you ask him. Story number 2, and this involves our principal, Mr. Fitzgerald. A few weeks ago, he needed to know how many folks could sit up in the balcony. So one morning he left his office, went up the steps, and as he got to the top of the balcony, turned, he saw 2 students running across the balcony and down the other stair. Well, unfortunately for, let's call him Jake, Mr. Fitzgerald recognized him. So after he counted his seats, Mr. Fitzgerald went back to his office, pulled out the schedule, and sent Jake a little note to meet him after school. So around 3 o'clock or so, Jake walks into the office, and Mr. Fitzgerald says, do you know why you're here? And he says, yeah. He says, well, you know, when I saw you, you were supposed to be in English class. You're going to have to serve some detention. And he shook his head. Then Mr. Fitzgerald said, and by the way, who was the young lady that was with you? Well, Jake said, I can't tell you that. Well, Mr. Fitzgerald said, if you don't, you're going to serve more time in detention. Was it Mary? And he said, Mr. Fitzgerald, please don't ask me. I can't tell. You're going to serve more detention. Was it Janet? Mr. Fitzgerald, I'm not going to be a rat. Finally, Mr. Fitzgerald said, tell me, was it Sue? And he says, sir, I can't tell you. I'm just not going to tell you. So he said, okay, you have now 6 days of detention instead of 3, and I don't want to ever see you by that auditorium again. On the way out, walking through the Commons area, Jake's best friend came up to him and said, well, what'd you get? Jake smiled and said, I have 6 days detention and 3 great leads. Anyhow, class of 2021. You were dealt a bum hand. There's no sugarcoating it. I think all of us while we were in school look forward to being seniors, being the lead dog, top of the mountain, being in charge. You missed out on a lot of good times, a lot of wonderful memories. But that's past. We can sugarcoat it and try to tell you, oh, you're better people for it. Things happen for a reason, and someday you'll understand. I don't know that that'll ever happen. But there is one thing certain, and I think most of the people in this room, especially those over 40, we're all looking at you with green envy. Why? Because you have something that none of us have any longer, and that's time. The time is like water, it dissipates, and it does go away in the blink of an eye. So the only thing of value that I can tell you tonight is, don't wait. We all just take time for granted. Go out and do what you want to do. Go after your dreams starting tomorrow. With that, good luck and Godspeed. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Calla, Board of Education, administrators, faculty, fellow graduates, family, and friends. I'm honored to speak in front of you tonight. But most importantly, I'm honored to speak to my class, the class of 2021. It has been a journey, a long, exciting, and challenging journey. I truly believe that our class has been through it all. It was just last March that the world hit a standstill. We were sent home from school for what no one predicted would be the rest of the school year. We missed out on sports seasons, homecoming, banquets, and so much more. Fortunately, we were able to resume school this year, but it still was not the same. Masks, spread out seats, and a divide between virtual and in-person students made it difficult to feel united. It has been tough for all of us in different ways. And that's why I think we are so lucky to be sitting here collectively as a class today for such a special occasion. And although our senior year of high school was unlike how anyone predicted, I believe it taught us all some important lessons that we will forever hold tight as we venture out into the real world. I would like to share a personal story about a lesson I learned. I hope it inspires you in your future endeavors. In 7th grade, I ran a 5K road race with my dad. I seemed to be running fine, and then I started breathing heavy and then heavier. I gasped for air and struggled to catch my breath. And then I started wheezing. I stopped running and quickly used my inhaler. After this, time didn't matter. My only goal became to make it to the finish line. After finishing the race, I was upset and confused on why I couldn't breathe even with my inhaler. My dad was concerned for my health and questioned if running was a sport that I could continue. I didn't want to quit, but I too questioned if I should go on. As I reflect on that day, I realized that my future running career was on the line that very night, and I didn't even realize it. It is not until this time in my life that I truly realized what a gift it is to run and why I was destined to continue running. It's not until now that I wonder how vastly different my life would have been if I had quit that night. Running has given me so much more than medals. Running has taught me many valuable lessons that have shaped me into who I am today. It has taught me grit, determination, perseverance, and numerous other precious lessons that I will remember for the rest of my life. My asthma is still an ongoing battle and one that I'm trying to completely solve. But what I have learned by pushing myself through these challenging times is greater than any struggle I've had to endure. Challenges like this taught me that I'm capable of more than I believe. It has taught me strength in weakness and to trust in God during some of the most exciting, but also the most disheartening times of my life. Although this year has been challenging for all of us, I truly believe that it has slowly shaped each of us into who we are today. Even though I shared one of my struggles, we all have our own stories. We all have a story to tell of the silent struggles that we have faced. The times when we get knocked down and feel like we can't get up, the tears, the exhaustion, the moments that we want to give up, but we rise to face another challenge. Every challenge and every setback we have had to endure has put us exactly where we are at this very moment. And although COVID has split us up in many ways, it has also united us as we have all had to overcome the same challenge together. It has made us stronger because at Sharon, we built friendships. We learned how to encourage, support, and be there for one another. The amazing people that we are surrounded by every day make Sharon a home. They make it a place I know many of us will forever hold tight to our hearts. Today marks the end of our high school experience, but we will continue to face obstacles in the future. The road ahead is not guaranteed to be smooth. Life will be hard. There will be difficult moments for each and every one of us. But what really matters is how you respond to these difficult moments. So I encourage you to persevere. Be resilient. Chase after your dreams no matter what anyone else tells you. Do what makes you happy and never stop trying. Trust in the process. Show up, give your all, and be happy with that. Although life can be challenging in so many ways, grit, determination, and perseverance are forces to be reckoned with, and overcoming tough challenges can ultimately lead to finding strengths you never knew you possessed. Our class is so special, and I know we can handle the road ahead. Enjoy the journey as it continues to shape you into stronger and more resilient people. So here's to the class of 2021, and in the words of Ralph Waldo Emerson, what lies behind us and what lies before us are small matters compared to what lies within us. Thank you, congratulations, and I wish you all the very best.
Good evening, everyone. It has become a tradition of the Sharon City School District to borrow a few minutes from our graduating class during their commencement ceremony to recognize one of our teachers by presenting the Elizabeth McMullen and Anna Grace Smith Teacher Appreciation Award. The award is given in behalf of the students, both past and present, of Sharon High School. It was established in honor of Mrs. McMullen and Smith by Milford M. Bohm, one of their many grateful students of the class of 1939. The purpose of the award is threefold: to recognize in a tangible way those teachers who exert positive influences in a special way on their students, as exemplified by Elizabeth McMullen and Anna Grace Smith. To encourage those so influenced to express their appreciation for the efforts of those exceptional teachers. To serve as a reminder to all teachers how their behavior inside and outside the classroom affects the lives of their students. While planning the details of the creation of this honorary award, Mr. Bohm stated that his goal was to stimulate students to think about the contribution their current teachers are making to their lives. As he reflected on those memories that influenced and motivated him to establish this memorial, he recalled a comment made to him by Elizabeth McMullen, his English teacher. She stated, "One of the things that makes teaching worthwhile is the occasional student who actually expresses appreciation for what we are trying to do." Mr. Bohm had established a trust fund from which the interest earnings are awarded to a current teacher. A committee of 3 private citizens who have no relationship with the school make the selection from those teachers who are nominated in writing by students and alumni. The decision of the committee is based upon the quality of reasoning as expressed in the letters of nomination. It's my pleasure to report that this year 87 letters nominating 30 middle and high school teachers were received from current students and Sharon High alumni. I was recently asked what I love about Sharon, and I didn't hesitate in responding. I love the pride, the tradition, the values embedded in this community. But most of all, I love the students of Sharon. Their character and resilience is unlike any I've seen. And reading the letters written by them on behalf of this year's awards winner is a true testament to that. They were written with such skill and poise from the heart and without reservation. The best way for me to honor them and this year's winner is to share with you their words and sentiments. A student opened her letter stating that to be a teacher that stands out to students, it takes patience, creativity, compassion, and strength. Qualities that are hard to possess together and even harder to display to every student who walks through the door. And said at Sharon High School, it's difficult to find a teacher who does not possess those skills. No doubt, all of our teachers deserve recognition for an outstanding job, especially this year, for working harder than ever to educate our students despite all odds. So on behalf of all of the staff, students, and parents of the Sharon City School District, I would like to take a moment to sincerely thank all of our teachers and wish you a very restful summer. This award was put in place to give students the opportunity to voice their appreciation for the one teacher that's been most impactful in their lives. One student wrote how this award recognizes the teacher that represents the ideals portrayed as a superb teacher, including a great understanding of students, providing a great influence to students, encouraging their students to do their best, and serving as examples for their students and coworkers. It's evident from the letters that this year's award recipient understands students. One student wrote, "This teacher is not only a wonderful teacher, but is also dearly loved by the feeling of safety they give them." Another said, "Having a teacher who can be trusted, especially in chaotic times like now, is important for students who don't have someone at home to care for them or talk to." Many students echoed these thoughts. "This teacher is always willing to talk about anything, has always been there to support me any way I could. They listen to our problems, never declines or turns down a student in need, let me cry or scream whenever I needed to." How do you get a child to believe in themselves? A student wrote, "This teacher's class has taught me so much about what it means to be a good person and how that means you don't have to be perfect." Another said, "This teacher knew deep down that they could unlock their potential and strive to be better. They try their hardest to give every student the best experience possible, guide students to choose the better path in life, has shown time and again that it doesn't matter what the situation is. There's always something to appreciate, learn, or a way to get through. They made me a better person and made me realize that I have a purpose and I can achieve anything if I put my mind to it. This year's award recipient is a role model for staff and students. The student wrote of how she handles a lot and yet is able to achieve her goals without falter, serves as a guiding pillar for all her students, shows leadership qualities and is always open to new ideas to improve her relationships and knowledge on topics, takes control of situations she is in, and always has a positive attitude when in stressful situations. There hasn't been a day where she gave up. We hope in a child's lifetime that they see these qualities in someone and aspire to be the best they can be. All the lives she has touched, all the children she has saved, all the children sitting alone in the dark that she has shined her light on to help them find their way, helping them to release emotions, express themselves, and their deepest passion. The great philosopher Plato said, "Music is the movement of sound, to reach the soul for the education of its virtue." I've watched her as a conductor, a teacher, a mother, and a friend, and I admire her for the strength and perseverance to do what needs done, no matter the sacrifice. I think of one of my very best friends. He's a graduating kindergartner this year, and I hope he has the chance to have a great teacher like the one we're honoring this evening. Actually, I know he will, because he's a student of Sharon. And today, he's gonna help me with this, if I can find him. Come on, friend. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 2021 Elizabeth McMullen Smith Teacher Appreciation Award recipient, Mrs. Jen Schaefer.
Johnny's in my mom's house in fever. Oh my gosh, oh my God. I'm so overwhelmed right now. I thank you so much. You all have been such a special class, and we have literally gone through everything together. The things that Mrs. Glarus just read, I am honored and shocked and amazed that that's what you see me. And I know I've said to at least one of you that you are my hero, because the things that you have gone through and come out the other side are amazing. And I bought a book for my kindergarten graduate that said, Dr. Seuss is right. The places that you will go are wonderful and amazing. But more important than the places you will go are the people you will know. And I am so grateful that you have all been people that I know. And I can't wait to see what amazing things that you do to change the world. Thank you so much.
Mr. Calla, at this time, it gives me great pleasure to present to you the members of the senior class as candidates for graduation. All of the candidates sitting before you have fulfilled the necessary curriculum requirements as established by the Pennsylvania Department of Health and the Sharon City School District Board of Education. At this time, may I present to you for your acceptance the class of 2021.
Thank you, Mr. Fitzgerald, and good evening to the members of the Board of Education, administration, faculty, staff, family and friends, and most importantly, the members of the class of 2021. It's with great pride that I address you tonight as you complete your journey through the Sharon City School District and begin the next stage of your lives. It's hard to believe, but this is the 9th and final commencement that I will have presided over as superintendent, and I'm continually impressed with the accomplishments each graduating class achieves, and your class is no exception. I'm very certain that you are well prepared and ready to move on to life beyond Sharon High. It also makes me very proud to see that you have become proficient young adults who are ready to achieve your goals and tackle the challenges that lie ahead. I'm confident that you are ready for every new opportunity that awaits you. While I know tonight is about you, before you walk across the stage and take those first steps toward life beyond high school, I want to remind you that you would not be here tonight without your parents, grandparents, and the other significant adults who have sacrificed for you during your entire life. They have provided you with support, with boundaries, and most importantly, with their love. They have educated you and prepared you for this very moment so that you are now ready to take the next steps in your journey. I am sure that they have many memories which they have stored in their hearts and their minds just for today, for days like today. I also would like to thank each member of the Sharon City School District faculty and staff. You have guided, molded, and shaped the class of 2021 through some of the most challenging times any of us have ever experienced. Your role has been instrumental in preparing these young men and women for a very bright future. The accomplishments of the members of this senior class are outstanding, and that is no small measure due to the countless hours you, their teachers, have dedicated to making sure that each one had the opportunity to receive this diploma tonight. Thank you for going the extra mile to support our students each and every day. And finally, before I accept the class, I want to share a quote that I also shared with the class of 2020 before you. It's from Japanese writer and philosopher Haruki Murakami, and I hope it will be one of the many things that you remember from this celebration. His quote goes as follows: "And once the storm is over, you won't remember how you made it through, how you managed to survive. You won't even be sure whether the storm is really over. But one thing is certain. When you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person who walked in. That's what this storm is all about." Your senior year has most certainly been the storm. A year filled with virtual learning, Google Meets, shutdowns, cancellations, quarantine, and for some missed opportunities and the chance for shared memories. Nevertheless, here you are, ready to graduate and take on the world. Know that as you receive your diploma tonight, you are stronger and more ready to face anything that life can throw at you than you were on that day in March of 2020 when the storm blew in. And now, Mr. Fitzgerald, as a commissioned officer of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and as the superintendent of the Sharon City School District, it is my distinct honor and privilege to accept the class of 2021 and acknowledge that they have met all standards and regulations as mandated by the Sharon City School District and the Pennsylvania Department of Education. Congratulations.
Giovanni D. Alberini. Hayden Blaine Anderson. Honor graduate, Jacob Daniel Ochter. Honor graduate, Spencer David Baker. Honor graduate, Emma Ann Barbarak. Kylie Grace Baum. Cameron Bliss. Nevin Boatner. Lauren May Bobby. Sky Mackenzie Bowser. Honor graduate, Sullivan Clark Brown. Honor graduate, Aiden David Buck. Aiden Burke. Peyton Michael Burns. Honor graduate, Jacob Douglas Catron. Honor graduate, Ty Joseph Chartraw. Liberty Clavelli. Braden Coxon. Adam Crawford. Ava Sattles. Honor graduate, Lucas Daniel D'Angelo. Honor graduate, Amira Wynn Dow. Honor graduate, Andrew Wynn Dow. Thomas Charles Dawson. Honor graduate, Jenna Christine Day. Nicholas Charles Dignall. Ehab El-Haj. Caleb Esmond. Honor graduate, Seth Evans. Honor graduate, Benjamin Kiko Foltz. Connor Fritsch. Honor graduate, Lily Grace George. Honor graduate, Amantane Avanda Marie Gibbs. Jacob Cooper Goodman. Honor graduate, John Patrick Haynes, Jr. Honor graduate, William Holt. Braylon Hawkins. Armando Ortiz Hernandez. Michael C. Herman Shell. Sean R. Hill. Corvon D. Hilton. Seth Douglas Hoovler. Honor graduate, Caroline Elizabeth Howard. Tiffany Starr Hall. Aaron Anthony Humphreys, Jr. Nicholas Roddy Hunchuck. Julian Naomi Hurst Tamura. Heaven Lee Angel Jakeway. Giovanni Amor Jamat. Darian Jones. Jeffrey Jude Jr. Ariana A. Jude. Tyree Justice. Eamon Cannon. Shahid Akram Cannon. Destiny Keller. Caden Thomas Kurian. Honor graduate, Kara Keitlinger. Emma Nicole Kimball. Gabriel E. Kirsch. Honor graduate, Haley May Lewis. Honor graduate, Emily Jean Lipke. Honor graduate, Megan Elizabeth Licio. Chance Franklin Lossinger. Cole R. Marcus. Honor graduate, Jada Michelle Marsh. Honor graduate, Ava Rain McLaughlin. Brennan Mendel. Christian Mendel. Haley Nicole Merchant. Imani J. Miller. Cole G. Milhoff. Marie Munson. Daniel R. Norwood. Caden Scott Ostheimer. Franklin Delano Parker. Savannah Sharnez Pegler. Andrew Price. Liliana Reba Pullman. Tyvel M. Richardson. Honor graduate, Abigail Ornita Rickard. Tanis Marie Ripley. Enough, please. Bella Alexandria Root. Sean Ruggles. Brett Salzgiver. Jacina LaShawn Sellers. Mark T. Small. Javion Smith. Daniel Sontag. Anastasia Stonebreaker. Honor graduate, Michaela Soraya Sumpman. Angelique Destiny Field. Honor graduate, Leah Tillak. Donald Valerie. Honor graduate, Jonathan Wareham. Honor graduate, Kyle Wareham. Christine Rose Wheaton. Elisha Ramika Williams. Honor graduate, Brianna Malia Wilson. Dakota Zamora. Salutatorian, President, Class of the 2021, Peter Benjamin Wood. Valedictorian, Vice President, Class of 2021, Gianna Nicole Laviento. Honor graduate, Secretary, Class of 2021, TJ Murphy. Honor graduate, Treasurer, Class of 2021, Catherine Margaret Creason. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, graduates, I ask you to please move your tassels from right to left. At this time, I would ask for everybody to please rise for the playing of the alma mater.
When I sat on this stage with my friends, many of whom I still talk to today, we were dying to get our college email address. Because that way we could sign up for Facebook, as that was the only way that you were able to sign up for Facebook at that time. So just think about how uncool TikTok or whatever your favorite app may be in a decade or so. The coolness of apps really puts time into perspective. Perspective that you may not have yet, but perspective that I can use to tell you that it's okay to be a mix of emotions as this chapter ends. You can be thankful for your family, teachers, and coaches. You can be sad not to see your friends every single day in the hall. You can be excited to move away or nervous to move away. But ultimately, don't forget to be proud of yourself for your accomplishment. In any year, it is a great one. In this year, it is an extraordinary one. And one that should remind you that you are not just resilient, but resilient tigers. And that is the best that one can be. Congrats again.